Hi all, it's Laura from Hyperstamper. I have another one ready to go. This beautiful 120-year-old book is, sorry, 100 and, yeah, something like that. I'll do the math later, help me. It's called Cranford and the author is Mrs. Gaskell, and I love, or Gaskell, it's hard to tell that font, is wonderful that she called herself Mrs. I think that's quite hoity-toity and fantastic. It was illustrated by Hugh Thompson, and it has a fantastic cover that is in really good condition, a beautiful spine, but the cover, look at these beautiful black heart leaves on these wonderful swirls encompassing the gold embossed title there. I've just added a tiny little bit of lace top and bottom and this wonderful little bangle here I made out of vintage beads that I've been collecting. And let's have a look inside. I just put a cotton black closure. It's going to fray naturally. And I kind of wanted something really floppy and beautiful for that. And inside is the title page under its original onion paper. And it's here, 1914 is the title date. Mrs. Gaskell, sorry, it was Mrs. Gaskell. And everything in here, of course, is authentic, antique, and vintage ephemera, except a few tea-dyed pages. And I've added lots of spots for you to journal in. So this is a 1950s stamp collector's book page. And so I put in this vintage stamp collector's glossy envelope, and I filled it with some vintage stamps. Very colorful and pretty. And there's a pocket there, and then you open it up, and inside here is one of the original illustrations. And then you open it up again, and there's another one inside here with antique paper and some lace. So I think that's a really fun little spot in there. Flip it over, and back here is a children's book page, the bunny rabbit and the turtle. And I put some antique paper on the back for journaling, but it's a fun illustration. And this is very cool. This is from 1911, and it is a business postcard from the Union Lodge, and it's yours fraternally. So I just think that's wonderful. April 27, 1911. A lot of fun you can have with that. Great postage marking. Just a really cool, this is a spine of an antique book called Isle of Wirrawoo. I've made that into a journal already, but the spine had fallen off, so I made it for a cluster. Vintage recipe book pages and bird images. This one is the nighthawk. And then this came from the Birds of North America book that I have been using my vintage images from. Isn't that beautiful? And this is the spine of the book. So I have had that for so long, so I thought I would put it in here on the bird page. Isn't that neat? I love it. And that's the inside of the spine there, woodpecker. And we've got this wonderful home economics page. Children's book pages here. Here's a wonderful photograph from 1936. And this is from that same collection that I've been using. The photograph didn't develop well back in, almost 100 years ago, but it's Mother and Joan at Macmillan Hall at Mother's College, visited Labor Day weekend. I love that. A little bit of history she wrote about. This is just one of a vintage sewing clasps and a little 1950s vintage mini card. That's sweet. I love it. And some Canadian birch bark here. And over here, we've just got one of the inside pages again from this original book. And I love that I tried to include as many pages as I could without filling it with them. Little receipt there from the 50s Pearl Shop and a 1930s children's book page. And then up here is a fun little how to make crafts book page from the 40s. And this is from the early 1900s. It's actually a player piano roll paper. God, say that 3 times fast. And it's got the number on there, 41495. I was tempted to go and get a lottery ticket with those numbers. This came, of course, where do you think? From Winston Dictionary. And then this is one of those awesome hard children's book pages from the 30s. And I put some antique paper on the back for journaling. That's fun. This is a really fun book. Oh, and this is from one of the art collection books. And I just found the colors from this 1930s book so unbelievably colorful, just vibrant as anything. And this over here, another one of these onion paper prints. This is early 1900s on a book about medieval costume. And this one is 1320 to 1377. Isn't that neat? And there's another one of these wonderful, it's the flip side of that same book. Look at the colors, they're just fantastic. Just made a little mini book here out of more vintage papers and antique papers, and the cover is from a how-to watercolor book from the 70s. And a wonderful little illustration under there, and a journaling spot under here, and a vintage hanky. I love this one. It was never purchased, so it is brand new, but not brand new, if you know what I mean. Never been used, but very old. And look at this wonderful how to make hats page here. Isn't that great? I love it. More. Oh, I put in some pretty lace here. This is vintage lace. And more tea-dyed paper, children's book pages. This is from the Beacons Lodge. I've been using quite a bit of these. This is from the 50s. Wonderful names put in here, and P for present, special meeting down here. And that's all the roll call. And this is a plate out of a English garden book, or North American Gardens. I'm sorry, I do forget. And there's from a botanical book here. And that is a vintage book, and the illustrations are so pretty. I love them. More of that. How great is that? All done with a pen and ink. And I just did some typing, or a rubber stamping there. The word journal. And, oh, just some more fun. Oh, look how fun. It's a little poem on magic. Another little page here that came from a I Wonder Why book. And look at these wonderful illustrations of nature. So fantastic. And this is one of my favorite images here because I'm all about pen and ink. So this was what that was, an ink story. And an old music sheet here. And I've just got this clip here with a vintage playing card on it. That's just a little clip there. And on top of some vintage crochet and an antique book page that's folded up for journaling on top of a vintage map. This is the 1938 Paris, France Almanac page, double-sided. And that is from May 1938 during the war. Great little pocket made from a children's book page here. Whew. Here we go. Look at this side of this Stamp Collector's book page. Isn't that great? So they're on these little hinges. You can lift them up, you can remove them and reuse them if you like, but pretty cool. Pretty cool. And this is neat. That's an antique book page there. And let me open this up so you can see this great ad for a lodge. The Odd Fellows and Replicas meet tonight. Look at the 1970s cars, and oh, it's just fantastic. I love it. So that was going right into the 1980, just after the 79 meeting. Another great illustration, and the end page of the actual book that this is in the last illustration. So I'm going to put that on Etsy now. I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. And it's hyperstamper.etsy.com, and I hope you come back soon. Bye.